Secrets don't stay buried forever, especially not in old New York. And in Season 3 of The Gilded Age, every whisper in the ballroom could bring down a dynasty. Episode 6 is on the horizon, and what happens next could change everything. But to understand where we're going, we need to look at where we've been. So far in Season 3 of The Gilded Age, the battle between old money and new money has only grown more intense. At the center of it all is Bertha Russell, who continues to push her way into high society with power, charm, and no interest in following anyone else's rules. From lavish opera wars to brutal social snubs, she's done everything she can to earn a seat at the table. And in Episode 5, she got a taste of victory. But at what cost? Bertha's rival, Mrs. Astor, isn't going down quietly. After being forced to accept Bertha's influence in the opera scene, she's begun making quiet moves behind the scenes, organizing exclusive dinners, sending out cold invitations, and creating new ways to remind Bertha that money alone doesn't guarantee respect. The society split is growing wider, and Episode 6 might be where it all cracks open. Meanwhile, Marian Brook's quiet rebellion continues. She may have started the season trying to play by her Aunt Inez's strict rules, but Marian's heart isn't easy to control. Her art teaching, her friendships outside the acceptable circle, and her new closeness with Dashiell Montgomery have put her at odds with the expectations of New York society. Marian is walking a dangerous line, and if she chooses love over duty, she may find herself cut off for good. Across town, George Russell's troubles aren't just about parties and power. His railroad empire has come under pressure, with workers demanding better pay and rival businessmen trying to take him down. In Episode 5, George faced tough questions about loyalty, ambition, and justice. His decision to step in and end a workers' strike might have looked generous, but was it strategy or compassion? Episode 6 could bring consequences, especially if his enemies decide to strike back. Let's not forget Peggy Scott, whose journalism continues to shake things up. Her writing on racial injustice and women's independence is bold, thoughtful, and unshakably honest. But her return to New York hasn't been easy. Her personal life remains tangled, and her career may be putting her at risk in a city that isn't ready to hear the truth. Still, Peggy stands tall, and Episode 6 might offer her the chance to step into an even bigger spotlight. Each character is at a crossroads. Choices have been made, tensions are rising. And while New York's grand halls and glittering gowns try to hide it, something is building beneath the surface: betrayals, breakthroughs, and maybe even ruin. Episode 5 left us on the edge, and Episode 6 promises to be a turning point. The new teaser for Episode 6 doesn't give away much. But in The Gilded Age, even a single look, a glance across a ballroom, or a raised eyebrow can speak volumes. Let's break down the first look, frame by frame, and see what secrets might be hiding in plain sight. The teaser opens on Bertha Russell standing at the top of a grand staircase, her gown shining gold under the chandelier light. She's smiling, but it isn't joy, it's control. This isn't just a party, it's a message. She's not asking for acceptance anymore, she's demanding it. This scene might be from another one of her famous events, and based on the looks exchanged between her and Mrs. Astor, the silent war between them is far from over. The music swells here, heavy strings with a sense of tension. Something is definitely brewing. Then, we get a quick shot of Marian walking alone through Central Park in the early morning mist. She's wearing a simpler dress, holding a folded letter. The camera lingers on her face, which looks torn, possibly emotional. Could this be a love letter, or news that changes everything? There's no dialogue here, but Marian's expression tells us enough. She's facing a decision, one that could challenge everything her family expects of her. The next shot of her is back in Inez's house, and the two women are clearly having another argument. Agnes slams her teacup down, lips tight. This isn't just about romance anymore. It's about freedom. Asterisk in another blink and you'll miss it moment. We catch George Russell seated at a long table with city officials and railroad tycoons. Tension is thick. His eyes scan the room, calculating, but the camera cuts to a younger man across from him, possibly a new rival. Someone is challenging George's control over the railroads, and episode 6 may finally show us whether he can outmaneuver them all. There's also a moment where Bertha touches his arm in private, her face serious. Whatever's coming next. It may hit their marriage, not just their business. Asterisk, one of the most striking images from the trailer is Peggy Scott holding a newspaper, but this time, it's her own name in the headline. Harlem Voices. A new writer challenges the gilded world. Her eyes widen slightly, half pride, half fear. She's stepping into the spotlight, and not everyone is going to like what she has to say. A few seconds later, we see her walking into a room full of white editors, and every head turns. This storyline is about to explode. Asterisk, the trailer ends with a dinner scene. Long table, glittering crystal, silence. The camera pans slowly over everyone's faces. Bertha, George, Mrs. Astor, Marian, Agnes, and more. Everyone looks uncomfortable. Someone is about to speak. A voice off-screen says, "You've all been pretending for too long." Cut to black. No names, no context. Just that chilling line. Asterisk, that's classic Gilded Age, layered, elegant, and full of unspoken danger. The show never throws drama in your face. It lets it sit in the air quietly until it becomes impossible to ignore. And from this teaser, episode 6 seems ready to unravel long-held alliances, test personal loyalty, and maybe even expose a few lies that have been growing since season 1. Asterisk, there's something brewing beneath the gold leaf and silk gowns. And when it breaks the surface, it's not going to be quiet. Asterisk, with the teaser full of subtle warnings and emotional pressure building across every storyline, episode 6 of the Gilded Age season 3 is shaping up to be a game changer. It won't just be another fancy dinner or another sharp remark over tea. This could be the episode where polite society stops playing nice. Asterisk, let's start with Bertha Russell, because once again, all eyes are on her. Episode 5 showed her pushing deeper into the social world that once shut her out. But power always has a price. We expect episode 6 to deal with the fallout from her latest victory, and from the looks of the trailer, it's not going to be smooth. There's a quiet tension building between her and Mrs. Astor, and it seems that Bertha is finally beginning to understand that winning a battle doesn't mean winning the war. Will she be pushed too far? Or worse, will she overplay her hand? Asterisk 1. Thing is clear, the dinner scene shown in the trailer won't just be another social event. It might be the turning point. We could be looking at a moment where someone, possibly Bertha, makes a bold move that splits the room and starts a new chain of events. It could be a public humiliation, an unexpected guest, or a conversation that was never meant to be heard. The quiet power games of old money might finally erupt into something more brutal, and Bertha might not be the only one with something to lose. Asterisk, meanwhile, Marian Brook's path is getting more and more dangerous. Her growing closeness with Dashiell is already upsetting the delicate balance of her household. But in episode 6, that conflict may hit its peak. From the look on Inez's face in the teaser, Marian has crossed a line. It's likely we'll see a major confrontation between the two, and for the first time, Marian might be forced to choose between love and family. She's always walked the line between tradition and independence, but now she may finally have to pick a side. If she chooses freedom, she could lose her home. If she stays, she might lose herself. Asterisk, George Russell's storyline could shift more heavily into political danger. The railroads are a central theme this season, and episode 6 may bring the kind of backroom betrayal and legal maneuvering we haven't seen since season 1. The new rival shown at the negotiation table could be someone planning a quiet takeover, or worse, someone trying to destroy George's name in the press or the courts. And if his public image starts to crack, Bertha's place in society might crumble with it. The Russell empire is built on steel and wealth, but it's being held together by secrets and silence. Then there's Peggy Scott, who might be the episode's emotional anchor. She's finding her voice as a writer, but that voice is putting her in danger socially and possibly professionally. We expect episode 6 to put her in a position where she must speak up when no one else will. She may publish a story that puts her in direct conflict with powerful people. Or maybe she be offered something tempting, more money, more reach. But only if she agrees to stay quiet, and knowing Peggy, silence is not an option. Finally, there's an emotional undercurrent running through every plotline. A sense that something personal is about to break. A secret could be revealed, a trust could be shattered. Whether it's a betrayal, an affair, or a decision made in desperation, episode 6 may not just change the social order. It might forever change the people who live inside it. This isn't just another episode. This is the spark. And the fire is about to spread. At
the heart of the Gilded Age, beyond the gowns, carriages, and chandeliers, lies a quiet but relentless war, a war fought not with weapons, but with words, looks, and reputation. And in episode 6, two women, Bertha Russell and Marian Brook, stand at the edge of defining moments in their lives. Both are pushing against the walls that society has built around them, and both may finally break through. Or break apart. Let's begin with Bertha Russell, the force of nature that refuses to be ignored. When the show first introduced her, she was seen as a social climber, wealthy, yes, but tasteless by the standards of old New York. But here in season 3, Bertha is no longer climbing. She's taking up space, claiming rooms that were never meant for her, and rewriting the rules as she goes. In episode 6, we expect Bertha to finally face the real cost of power. The teaser shows her presiding over another grand affair. Her face, calm but her body language sharp. This isn't a woman enjoying her success, this is a general preparing for battle. After spending so much energy getting into society's most exclusive rooms, she now seems ready to decide who stays in them, but that kind of control makes enemies. Bertha may discover in this episode that power is more fragile than she thought, that all it takes is one scandal, one betrayal, one rumor whispered in the right ear, to make everything she's built begin to fall apart. We may also see a new side of her marriage to George. So far, they've been a powerful team, supportive, strategic, even loving. But if George's business starts to falter, will Bertha stand by him, or will she shift her focus back to her own ambitions? Episode 6 could begin to crack the perfect image they've built. And once cracks appear in a marriage like that, in public, in front of society, they don't just heal quietly. Now, let's talk about Marian Brook, the quiet rebel of the series. From the very start, Marian has been torn between two worlds, the traditions of her Aunt Agnes and the free-thinking ideas she sees emerging around her. In season 3, she's started stepping out of line, teaching art, falling for someone outside her social class, and refusing to accept the life she's been told to live. In episode 6, it looks like Marian's storyline is finally reaching a breaking point. Her facial expressions in the teaser, thoughtful, hesitant, then defiant, tell us she's about to make a big choice. That folded letter she holds might represent the past, or a possible future. Whether it's about dashing a job, or a decision to leave her aunt's home. This moment is a turning point. What makes Marian's journey so powerful is that it isn't loud. It's not a public war like Bertha's, it's personal. It's emotional. It's a quiet fight for the right to choose her own life. A right women of her time had to claw out inch by inch. And if episode 6 gives her that moment, it could be one of the season's most emotionally powerful scenes. These two women, Bertha and Marian, are not allies. They're not even that similar. But they represent two sides of the same fight. The right to be more than what society expects. One fights in ballrooms and banquets. The other fights in silence and shadow. And in episode 6, both may finally cross lines they can't return from. Episode 6 of the Gilded Age Season 3 is scheduled to drop this Sunday at 9 p.m. on HBO, and from what we've seen so far, it could be the most intense episode of the season. Everything's been building toward this. The social games, the silent rivalries, the personal battles hidden behind lace curtains and polite smiles. The lines between loyalty and ambition are starting to blur. Old money is tightening its grip. New money is ready to break the rules. And in the middle of it all are characters who are trying to hold on to who they are before society decides for them. Asterisk whether it's Bertha risking everything to win control of high society, Marian choosing between her heart and her inheritance, George facing a threat to his empire, or Peggy stepping into the fire with nothing but her truth. Episode 6 promises to shift the ground beneath every character's feet. Asterisk, and here's the real question. Who survives that shift? Who loses everything? And who walks out of it more powerful than ever? You won't want to miss it. So keep your gloves on and your secrets close, because, in the Gilded Age, even the most beautiful things are built on cracks. And next episode, those cracks just might split wide open. Asterisk, want a full breakdown and character analysis after the episode airs? Make sure to follow, subscribe, and stay tuned. We'll be back with every scandal, every power move, and every shattered alliance. Asterisk, until then watch closely, because the age may be gilded, but underneath, it's nothing but war.